And welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen. Our final match for the evening here at night number 3 of week 1 of the ESL ESEA Pro League is getting started right now. Once again, it's Team Coast Gaming taking on CLG. CLG already with 1 victory under their belt, and Team Coast with 1 loss. Now we're going to see these two.
just aced the knife round.
And look at that. Now we're going to see these two facing off, and of course this will close out our night. That's a bit scary.
He comes in, aces the knife round. Oh, well, you know, after the match that he just had, he aces the knife round. Insane.
All right, so after that very awkward transition of our casting, what do you, as we get started with the knife or then a pistol round here, of course, what do you expect to see out of this match from Coast this time, coming off the loss from Cloud9?
Struggles. I expect more struggles to come from them. I mean, they go from playing the top North American team to playing the number 2 North American team on a map like Overpass, which CLG is strong on. I think that this is going to be a landslide. I think it's going to be very favorable on the CLG side. I'd love to see Coast pull out some crazy strats and win some nuts rounds, but they didn't show much on their terrorist side on Inferno, and I really don't think that they're going to have much success on their terrorist side. I think JDM with the AWP is going to lock down that A-bomb site. I think Tarek is going to be maybe going for the double scope setup. It'd be a little risky to go for a double scope setup on this map, but I could definitely see it happening. And Tarek and JDM just annihilating this push into the A-bomb site. As you can see, Tarek's going to be over there by the dumpster trying to make something happen. He's got Cutler to support, and Stanislaw just not going to be able to make anything happen in that round. So CLG walk away in the pistol round. JDM with a couple of nice headshots there to open things up. So a good start to the round for them.
And with that round being picked up, of course, by CLG pretty dominantly there, too. Kind of absolutely shutting down. We only saw Team Coast picking up 1 kill that time. CLG just finding their taps with all of those kills. And this is the trademark hazed buying a Nova when they're in a very confident matchup coming out here from him, too. He does this all the time, and he's going to try to get a load of cash off of this one. It's usually like a 50-50, obviously, with it being the shotgun, but we'll see how this pans out.
It'd be fun to see, but it does look like they're going to be going through playground towards bathrooms here on the coast side, terrorists, and we'll see what they do. They've got a number of players over here in party just watching for the stairs to subway. They're not going to find anything in that area as there's no CTs playing over in that avenue, but I don't know if I agree with them trying to take these long-range battles. They've got Tarek, JDM, and Cutler. Cutler and Tarek both have rifles to start this off, too. An M4 in the hands of Tarek and a FAMAS in the hands of Cutler, and now they're going to go for the peek, and Cutler long-range finds one. Tarek finds one as well. And finally, Drake long-range with the pistol is going to be able to find one, and 2 as well, so not too bad. I eat my words on that one.
Now they move in, though, and it's JDM with a shutdown. A pop flash coming over from bathrooms. I believe that being at the hands of, actually, Pays, maybe? Somebody threw that over. I'm not exactly sure who, but CLG's closed it out there with that. And this is actually, again, to go back and harken your point as to why they invested so heavily in the first round. They always do this in matches that they know they have the advantage on, or matches that they should have the closeout on. They mainly just do that to build up an economy earlier on because they know that the enemy that they're up against is probably not going to be able to put up as strong of an eco round comparatively to higher strength teams like Cloud9 or Europeans.
Well, we saw the money be a factor for CLG in the first matchup, and the fact that they had too much of it for enemy to handle. Already trying to start to roll that bankroll. You can see they kept the MP7 in the hands of JDM. It's going to be a quick push up towards the A-bomb site. He should be able to pick up a number of kills. That's 1 and 2. Finally goes down to the hands of Drake through the smoke. Nice shot from him. Tarek is there as well, but that's already $1,200 in the bankroll for JDM to move into the next round. He's at $5,000 before the round win. Cutler's going to be able to find Drake as well, and it's all on Stanislaw, who's locked away in these bathrooms behind a smoke. So not much he's going to be able to do.
That's some sexy spray control there from JDM on the MP7 too. Almost found a third, but of course teammates coming in to close that out. And now Stanislaw aim punch a bit too strong there inside of the bathroom. So Cutler will just close things out there nice and easy, and CLG make it through those 3 rounds without any trouble whatsoever for the most part.
Yeah, $8,300 on JDM. He's 6 and 2. He was able to get those 2 kills with that MP7 the last round, so he should be able to buy an AWP. Let's see if he goes for it. If he sticks to a rifle, he is going to go for the AWP. Okay, I figured that it would be silly for him not to, especially with him holding down that A-bomb site. He's going to get aggressive on long A this round as well, so it's going to be a It's going to be an AWP right in their face, and that's the avenue that they're going. So JDM's going to be having a bit of a chance to light up some players here coming around long A.
Well, JDM, as you said, waiting for this push to come out here. It's going to be very, very limited here from Team Coast. They've got to be so cautious with this because in a match where CLG are high confidence, you actually had a really nice point about Cloud9 in that matchup before, where they just played wildly aggressive, and to be honest, Team Coast had no clue what to expect. So they started hanging back a little bit more and hoping to see that aggression coming towards them so that they could capitalize on that and find kills. But not going to be the case here earlier on from CLG. They just are holding those usual angles here. They're actually being pretty preserved, to be completely honest. Most of the players still on the A site. Nobody pushed out to lower park or even a long A at this point. So they're just going to go for the holds there. And the same story on B. There's a little bit more as Finesse here is going to go in a position to hold out any push from Monster, but obviously the main play is going to be happening here towards the long A, and Tarek's going to go through that. He's going to be 3 players, finds one though, tries to adjust the spray, but it doesn't pan out too well. Dumore will get the trade, but now they know where the push is coming from, so they can rotate appropriately.
Yeah, they got 2 coming around from Bathrooms. This is going to be Cutler. Oh, they're going to run around the wrong side of Bathrooms, and Cutler's going to get the back of 2. That flashbang's a little bit off, but he's going to bide his time. Gets 1, 2, and 3. And Cutler with the beast play there, hiding in plain sight, but he's going to be able to drop 3 players that don't check their angles through Bathroom, and Invert goes down to Hayes. So a strong hold in the A bomb site for the CLG side.
Although we did see that little bit of a slip up there from Tarek, which ended up causing his own death for the trade. No trouble at all for the rest of the CLG members to close things out, and that early spot from Tarek actually helped out his team by quite a bit. As I said, they were able to rotate appropriately very, very early on, and Team Coast's push was pretty much made null by that one, as they were already on the site for the most part by the time Coast actually ended up making their attempt to take the site.
Yeah, he actually gathered a ton of information, so even though he only got 1 frag out of that exchange, he was able to get a literal ton of information out of that, so good job from Tarek on that. Even though he wasn't able to control the spray and get more than 1, that was just a good job overall from him.
Here we go now from Team Coast once again. Stuck on an eco, so the exception, of course, of the Tech 9s and P250s, but not really going to be able to do too much. And there's JDM already picking up 1 round in the corner. Peekaboo from Tarek, as they weren't expecting him. He hadn't fired as of yet, so some good trigger control coming out from him. He now gets a second, and it's the tag team here between JDM and Tarek. He's going to find Dumore, and Tarek rushing up with the USP. He finds Drake, and it's a shutdown there for CLG once more.
Yeah, so I mean, what can you say? Tarek, he's 8-2. JDM's 8-2. 7-2 for Cutler. They're getting all the action over the A bomb site. They haven't really made a press onto the B bomb site yet, so that's why Hayes and FNS are sitting at 1-0-0. So, not feeling the love over at B.
No, not indeed. Not really getting a whole lot of action, as Team Coast almost sticking exclusively to A pushes so far in these rounds.
And they're going to be going A again. Now, Invert has the AWP, but look at Tarek. He's so aggressive at long. He's going to hear all these footsteps. But there's the peek out. Already dropping the offer. Dumore's going to get the trade, though. And so a good opening so far for Team Coast in this second gun round.
So this is what Team Coast were able to capitalize on just a little bit here and grab a couple scrap rounds in their match against C9, was they caught on to this aggression, as I just mentioned a couple rounds back, and they actually started hanging a little further back to wait for their opponents to start playing aggressive against them, and it seems this is what CLG tried to do there at the beginning with JDM and Tarek. They went for that very aggressive push down long A and got punished for that in a big way, so now Team Coast have the initiative. The problem is, though, they have to try and find a way to transfer this into a site itself, because after these 2 kills happen, I highly doubt CLG is going to try to push anything else against them at this point.
Step bomb looking like it's actually going to work towards the B bomb site, and FNS is in a great spot here if he does check the right corners. He's got 1 walking out. He's going to get 1, and not going to be able to connect the spray on the Stanislaw, but he gets the information that rotation is already on. Hayes down in the pit, such a strong position to be in the defense of this B bomb site, but he's going to fall back over towards Graffiti and see if he can hang on to this bomb site. Drake coming around from the lower side. He's going to tap him away. Stanislaw goes down as well. Hayes with a stalwart defense of this B bomb site. He's got 1 more to beat. That's going to be Draw Soul behind the smoke here by the stripper pole, and he's going to work his way up towards the pit, and Hayes is going to spot him out. Takes him down. 6-0 now for CLG. Finally some love at the B bomb site.
Yeah, as Team Coast kind of get their hand forced there a little bit after that play from Finesse there, finding the one and revealing them, but I think they were going to commit to that site anyway at that point, so not too much of a change-up overall, and CLG, again, still no trouble at all holding those sites. Team Coast, just the basics here. Can't find the entries that they're looking for, and unfortunately losing too many players. And I mean, that time too, they even had an advantage. They had a 5-on-3 advantage, but they somehow flubbed that up, and once again, CLG just holding on to the sites, a stalwart defense of each site, as you said, and they're just not able to go anywhere once they find their way where the enemies are.
And this time they're going to work their way fast up through Subway, up the stairs, and FNS is around the corner. JDM bails him out of 1, but FNS pops out and says hi to Draw Soul with a bullet to the face from his M4A4. He's still looking for 1 over by Party. JDM's going to capitalize on that. Takes down a second one. Looking for Stanislaw as well, but he's going to fall back and retrieve the bomb. as the smoke just slowly rolls down the stairs. I don't know if he's caught that or not. That was actually pretty funny. It looked like a slinky.
So now we see Team Coast. They work their way up through long A here, and it's going to be Invert that leads the charge, which is an easy little Galil here. He's got one smoke to work with here, too, and they'll get a good smoke angle set up. The problem is the JDM is still here. The peek comes out, and he's flashed initially, but he finds one. Gonna look for the second. Hayes will steal it away, of course, as he works his way over there through semi, but no trouble at all for the CLG players. Still, no trouble once again. Just holding on to the site. Team Coast losing pretty much all of their roster before they can even get there, and just not able to make anything of these T rounds, unfortunately.
Yeah, and just a really rough spot for the Coast to be in. But again, this is a not really out of the ordinary, not what I wouldn't have expected. So really a strong showing from CLG on their both of the maps that they've played so far tonight. 11-3 for JDM, 9-3 for Tarek, and doing a sensational job across the board, both of those two players. And they go for the boost, but they're going to evacuate that premise at the beginning of this round as Cutler actually gets tagged down a little bit from that residual spray through the wall.
This aggression going to be coming out here now from CLG too. A chase is on here. I believe that's it's going to be Finesse there trying to chase down Stanislaw at this point. It might actually catch him off guard as he works his way up on that ladder. He doesn't actually go for the full peak though, so he falls down, and Stanislaw might have been able to hurt that, but he's looking over here for a rotation that comes out there through Park, and he won't catch it. But now the actual take is going to happen over here towards the B site. Since they seem fairly committed to it, there's no reason they couldn't, of course, abandon this attempt and go back up through connector to A again. But for the most part, it does seem like they want to try and go for this here for most of their roster.
Yeah, so we'll see where they decide to actually commit very shortly as the time's starting to tick down, but FNS is not going to make him, he's not going to give them a chance. Tarek's got the AWP playing from barrels. He's going to be able to find one. He's got Dumore around the corner. Works his way over to the other side of the stripper pole in the B bomb site, but Invert's going to be able to find a nice shot on the Cutler. Tarek readjusts his crosshair and takes him down, and now it's going to be on Dumore. The bomb on his back in 25 seconds, 3v1. Smoke fading over there by the stairs to Subway. And all three CTs are over in this direction.
Dumore moving his way in, caught on a little angle spray though, so Finesse coming outside of connector there, and Tarek tries to pick up the kill, but Finesse is going to steal it away, of course, having the better angle advantage, able to pick him off, and again, just, it's a bit unfortunate since, like, there's not really a whole lot else to analyze on this, but that's basically it here again. Like, we talked about this already at the beginning, we don't really expect Team Coast to win these matches here. They're just now making their way into Pro. These are their first matches here this week, and it's going to take them a very, very long time to adjust to this one. So their first matches, we don't really expect any sort of fantastic plays or fantastic upsets from them since they're just now making their way into this league.
So again, we're going to be seeing an eco round push here from the terrorist side. Hayes going to be shutting it down with the help from Tarek and just pushing through the smoke. Hayes burns another one. He picks up the 3K. And Hayes still yet to die. 9-0 and 0.
Oh my god, that's actually true. That's
they haven't been going to B, so he hasn't, really had a contest, and this is the first couple of times, and he's been flawless since they started coming there. He got the 3 1v1s the round, a couple of rounds ago to shut down that push, and that last round, the easy round, really good stuff from him.
The other problem here, too, with Team Coast as well is with how, to some degree at least, I mean, a lot of the roster's been together for some time now, but with how new this actual roster itself is, I can make a pretty strong bet that they just have not had the time as of yet to look at this map. This is definitely one of the later maps teams tend to look at because it's a newer one, and they have a hard time often, especially in North America, developing solid strats for this map. So this is probably one of the weakest maps for Team Coast.
So very difficult situation for him to be in as we hear the op shots raining out. JDM's going to draw first blood, Drake down and out, as well as a number of other players. Tarek picking up 2 kills as well. And we're just going to see Stanislaw and Drawsol, your last 2 terrorists, alive. And they're all the way back here at Fountain. They haven't made any map control, any presence anywhere on the map whatsoever. And just not a good spot for him to be in here.
And Drawsol just trying to see if he can find anything now as he works his way into lower. But there's the pop from Finesse. Finding out Drawsol. Stanislaw has not revealed himself yet, but it shouldn't take long for JDM to grab him. And there's a murder in the birthday party. Takes out Stanislaw. And once again,
that's just rude.
CLG takes him down.
That's so rude.
It's getting to that point again, and it's, as I said, there's just not much else to say on the matter.
Well, CLG looked really good against enemy on Mirage. The only rounds that they lost were the anti-eco or the eco rounds after the pistols that they lost. They lost both pistols on Mirage and won 16-5. That's massive. Stanislaw playing down in the subway. He's got Tarek to contend with, but Tarek He's going to get flash banged out. And now we see a little bit of commotion over towards the B-bomb site. You can see Hayes actually jump spotting over the top of the wall. He drops a nade out, does 2 damage, but the Molotov is going to hold him back. And Tarek is going to be falling back from the party side of the map through bathrooms, and they're going to go all the way back to the A-bomb site and maybe form a rotation back around. They actually get the bomb site for free. Hayes going to be able to find another one. Hayes with a second. Cutler chimes in. And Hayes with a third. Still yet to die. 15-3 for Tarek, 13-4 for JDM, 12-0
Hey, Mega Man.
for Hazed. What?
You know what the good news is?
They got a bomb plan?
They got a freaking plan.
Yeah.
And that's something to celebrate.
That's the first plan. They're getting closer to a round win. But the big thing is the terrorist side has a combined total of 13 kills in 11 rounds. 13 kills in 11 rounds. Every player has died every single round. Drossel has yet to get on the board. 3 kills for Invert, Stanislaw, and Dumore, and 4 kills for Drake.
And of course, we already mentioned this, but it's still very relevant as we're now later into the match, and Hayes still has not died yet. He's kept himself alive for 12 rounds straight. The time they kill Hayes, there's going to be a party in the Team Coast TeamSpeak. So here we go. Finesse finding one. It gets traded out by Invert, of course, and now their plan is to some degree already been revealed. It depends on how much Finesse saw, but I imagine they've already seen a good portion of it. JDM somehow putting himself into that position to flank Drake. I have no clue how he got there.
None.
The player is still on long, but alright, that somehow works itself out, and now this push will come down more. Misses that shot, so Dumore is going to be able to grab him. But once again, now their intentions still being revealed, they're going to be able to get themselves up here. They can still very well transfer this into Connector, which is exactly what they are going to do. But CLG has very much so predicted this. They moved Hayes down over here inside of Heaven.
The nade that Hayes has right now, if he drops it when they open Squeaky Door, Dumore is dead. And he switches out. Dumore does make his way out. Nade's going to be just slightly off the mark. But now he's going to barrel on down in there. Can Hayes stay alive for one more round, or have we cast or cursed the hell out of him? Draws Soul, picks up his first kill. This could be the round that Hayes dies, because Draws Soul finally on the board. Hayes peeking up, and he goes down! No! He does manage to get his 13th kill, though, but Cutler is going to be your last man standing 2v1. No reason not to go for this, as he's got a crap load of money to work with. He's going to pick up the AK-47. He's got Draw Soul working his way around.
Oh my god, Coast
there it
around.
Is! Woo! Team Coast on the board. It comes in the 12th. It's 11-1, and it's on the back of Draw Soul picking up 2 big frags.
Alright, so there's finally now Team Coast getting around. Not going to phase CLG at all, of course.
Don't call it a comeback.
Could you imagine?
That would be nuts. That would be absolutely insane.
What if they win every round from this point forward and CLG just dumbstruck 16-11 Team Coast victory? How crazy would that be?
North American shuffle incoming.
Alright,
I don't think we have to worry about that, to be honest with you.
I don't think we do either.
That was a good-looking round, though. I mean, it came down to a 1v1, but Drossel able to regain his composure and get himself back into it. Picks up 2 frags. He's right back into the mix with the rest of his team. He's only 3 kills behind Invert now. But again, Tarek at 15-4, JDM at 14-5, Hazed at 13-1, an untimely demise. Sadly, he couldn't execute another 3v1 over at that B-bomb site while Cutler rotated in, but 11-1, Team Coast on the board. 11-4 is not an awful half.
Well, the big
side.
The big problem, of course, is now they got to work against this monster economy from CLG, which is going to last them the rest of this half anyway. So it's not even going to matter to pick up these rounds. Either way, they got to face off against gun rounds, and they themselves, every time they die, it's going to get a little bit more limited for them as they can't stack up the couch. They drop this one, and CLG will win the next 2 rounds more than likely because Team Coast probably won't be able to afford the buy.
And that would be monstrous if it does come down to that factor. But again, here comes the push on in, and you can already hear the M4s raining out as it just gets completely annihilated. Now Hazed 0-2 in the last 2 rounds, or pardon me, 1-2 in the last 2 rounds. Another death, and he's going to have as many as F and S. Jeez, he's really Hazed. He's really fallen off in these last 2 rounds.
Yeah, so this is, again, that's that, as we expected there, that's that round that CLG are going to be able to just take right back. Team Coast now They're going to be right back onto their eco as expected, so this should solidify potentially 14-1 at the end of the half, which is very, very unfortunate indeed. But as I mentioned, and again, I realize at this point that this may come off as a rather satirical cast at this point against Team Coast, but I already did say earlier that unfortunately there isn't much else to say about this team at this point. They're brand new to Pro League, and they did move up from Premier. They had a good start there, but they're also, for the most part, and some of their players too, they're a fairly new roster, so there isn't a lot of hope for them going up against what, statistically speaking, is probably the second best team in North America at this point. So, I mean, I do apologize if we are sounding a little bit unprofessional with it, but just try to compensate.
13-1 is going to be your scoreline. CLG on top. Some tasers being purchased and dualies for FNS. It's time to see how OP the dualies are now. And 3 offs. Cutler going to pick up an AWP as well in the defense of this bomb site, but FNS going to start off with a nice double there from Subway. He's going to be looking for some more blood over here by the water, but JDM going to pop a shot through the squeaky door. Tarek's going to be able to find one, and Stanislaw goes down. 14-1 is going to be your halftime score, and we'll be moving into this with a 13-round deficit for Team Coast.
And indeed, now not a lot of hope indeed for Team Coast at this point in this one, and we'll get right into it, I'm sure. Here, unfortunately, Team Coast going to be able to hopefully take something out of this match. But as I said, them being a new team, with this being a rather sort of lately thought of map, especially for North American teams, it's just unfortunately getting pretty outmatched here at this point for CLG, and not a lot of hope for Team Coast coming into it.
14-1, Team Coast. Dire pistol round here. We'll see whether or not they can pick it up and move forward. But again, a mountain for them to climb. It's extremely difficult here, but CLG look in great form in these past 2 matchups. Mirage going their way 16-5, and now a 14-1 halftime score for them as Spot a Leg hits Go TV, but should be all right here in just a second. As we can see, it looks like it's just going to be a fast B rush coming out from the CLG side, as they're just going to barrel right on in. You see 3 players walking their way through the short B hallway, and you've got 2 players geared up to push through Monster, and here it comes for them. FNS going to be leading the charge, and in they go. And it's really a passive setup here from the CT side. They get a bomb site for free. No frags come out just yet, and finally Cutler's going to find Stanislaw, takes him down, and now the rotation comes out. Dumore on short B is going to go down. There's Tarek. Tarek switching over to Burstfire. Not going to be able to find the kill just yet, but Drawsoul very aggressive. He falls to JDM. This could be it. This could be the 15th round for the CLG side, and there you go. Drake's going to be the last man standing, stuck behind the sandbags, going for the knife. JDM's going to steal it away anyway. Unfortunately for them, little BM move there, but Hayes going to... I think he stole Hayes' knife. That's why he killed him. So Hayes was at 13-3. Now he's at 12-2. But again, 15-1, and losing that pistol round is just dire for Team Coast. There's really not much they're going to be able to do in this situation, especially with the full arsenal of rifles being purchased up with JDM's P90.
Yep. So, unfortunately, as I said before, there's not really a whole lot else to analyze at this point. Obviously, and as I said before, this is like, to Team Coast's own credit, like they've at least got these matches to use as somewhat of a foundation match to look at here. Not really going to be able to take too much away from this one, since it's more than likely going to be looking like a 16-1, since CLG once again starting it off strong here, but they can at the very least watch these demos, learn what has gone wrong, and use these to build on themselves later in the season. We did not expect them to do very well in these matchups. Drawsoul doing okay here, but there's Hayes trading it out and picking up the final kills. But to finish off my point, we did not expect them to do very well here at all in these matchups, to be completely honest, because they were one of the few move-up teams here, moving up directly from ESCA Premier. And overall, of course, it is going to take this team, like no matter what you happen to believe, it is going to take this team time to be able to perform against teams of that caliber like CLG. So we expect matches like that here very early on in the season. It's a bit unfortunate we do have to go through them, and once again, if we did go a little bit over there with the cast, we do apologize, but yeah, just kind of expected there for a new team on a very complicated map for North American teams and going against the top 2 team in NA.
Yeah, and again, like Blue was saying, there's a big learning curve for a lot of these teams now. Lunatic, they won Premier last season, but they won it against, Enemy GG was who they played in the grand finals for that, and then obviously some of the other teams that, didn't necessarily have a chance to move up, they did extremely well in Premier, but unfortunately there's such a learning curve to go from that Premier plateau to the Pro League where the top teams in North America are, and we saw them struggle. I mean, they played against C9 on Inferno, and then they had to play against CLG on Overpass, and that's, I mean, you're not going to have a good time in that situation. But like you said, there's a lot that they can learn from that, especially with the way that that Overpass went, because there's a lot of times where CLG was obviously playing a lot of standard setups, and there's a lot of ways that that if they go back and they examine those demos, they're going to be able to learn a great deal about the mistakes that they made and how they can fix it in the future and improve as a team. So honestly, they should you know, take it with a grain of salt. It's a big loss for them, but nevertheless, it's a big learning experience for them too. So I look forward to seeing them bounce back from that and being successful as the season progresses on. Yeah,
indeed, it will be fun to watch them hopefully grow off of these very early on. We'll see a little bit of a rough patch here for these guys, but maybe we can see them swing up a little bit here and maintain themselves in Pro League as the season continues. But that is going to conclude week number 1, guys, of North American play here at the ESL ESEA Pro League. Not really any big surprises this week, except for that Cole match versus CLG. I think was the only one that we've seen so far that was a pretty big surprise there. But actually, no, Liquid getting upset too, and their matchup was a little bit of a surprise. But it happens on Train.
Yeah,
so
that was a big win too for Conquest. That was a very impressive win that I saw from them. So I look forward to seeing more from them. But then again, they played against Team Coast last night on Cobblestone and lost. I think it was 16-13 on that map. So definitely have some work to do on a lot of these maps for a lot of these teams that are new to Pro League or newly formed rosters.
And that, indeed, guys, is going to close things out for our stream here tonight. Be sure to follow both myself and Mega Man if you'd like to follow our cast in the future. I'm going to be right below me, I think, at BLUCSGO. And for Mega Man, it's at Mega Man TV. Thanks once again, guys, for tuning in here. And we'll be back next week with more North American games.